Hello guys, my name is Anna and I'm from Ukraine, and I vlog daily to keep you updated on the real-life situation in my country as the war with Russia continues. And many ask, when will Russia attack again? Will it attack again? For me, it is just a question of time. Of course, taking into account their losses and failures and Putin's desire to reassemble Soviet Union, they will continue attacking us and we will continue fighting them back. And hopefully we'll take all the orcs out of our territories, and later we'll discuss what to do with Russians and Putin's regime. Honestly, on the news, on the internet, there are a lot of headlines speaking about when will the next attack of Russia take place. Will it be in winter to commemorate the year of special military operation, or maybe it will be in spring when the weather is much better for various military actions, or you cannot predict anything. But one thing that I am definitely confident of is that they will attack and we will attack back. Most of the Ukrainian counter-offensive operations were successful, and the majority of the territories that were occupied quickly occupied within the first days of this war, just because we were not prepared. We did not believe in such monstrous behavior, but now we have returned back all of the majority of the territories, and I hope soon we will return all of them, including Donbass and Crimea. And in general, I totally agree with Western media that many of them say that this very good new weapons, Patriot systems, for example, brand new and innovative tanks that are arriving to Ukraine are actually a signal that our Western allies decided to help us get ready for this next Russian attack, not after this attack actually happened as it was at the beginning of this war, but before, so that we are able to continue our counter-offensive operation and maybe to prevent future Russian attacks. This is a very important symbolic gesture, and it also proves the fact that Ukrainian active and brave actions demonstrated the fact that you can count on us. Because at the beginning of this war, there were many people, especially about global political leaders, who doubted Ukraine can withstand Russian army and were ready to sacrifice our country for the sake of, I don't know, for the sake of what? Because if you have a totalitarian president like Putin who starts grabbing lands next to his so-called zone of influence, it is always a very bad symptom which can lead to a deadly disease. And in case with Ukraine, we were able to withstand, we were united, and very quickly the world turned its face to us and started helping. So I think that one of the main reasons why the West supplies us with everything is that it believes in Ukraine. We are not going to give up. It is an existential fight for us, and now it is also an existential fight for the normality of the planet. Because if we lose, Putin will continue to other countries. Nobody wants that, and the level of his craziness and absurdity of Russian society is now very well visible. So the question is, when will they attack and from what zones will they do it? From what I understand, the Ukrainian armed forces and intelligence services believe that it is more likely they will continue their attacks from the east and south of Ukraine, where they have some territories temporarily occupied by orcs, and it is easier for them to supply and to move from that directions. It is not very likely that they will attack from the north because they don't have enough resources. They run out of missiles, and those new missiles that they produce, they do not always explode, and there are lots of memes about that. Of course, every missile targeted on Ukraine is a tragedy and potentially causes death and devastation, but they are running out of these items that are not supposed to be working in the 21st century. And also, we see conflict within Russian armies. General Surovkin is once again taken away from his position. If you hear the sound, these are my neighbors, and they also demonstrate optimism, because if they are doing repairments, this means they believe that our territory will not be destroyed or occupied. So Surovkin lost his post after just 3 months, and you see that they change the leaders of the military operation really quickly, and perhaps this demonstrates conflict between Surovkin and Prigozhin, between private Russian armies and state Russian armies, and that is always good, because when people quarrel, they are separated, and it is also a demonstration that everything goes not according to plan A, plan B, plan C, and so on of Putin, the supreme org. And also, I think it is very important to understand that in Ukraine we are united. The cooperation between the president, between the Ukrainian armed forces are pretty well. The society trusts the government, trusts the Ukrainian armed forces the most, and our the head of the Ukrainian armed forces, General Zaluzhny, is one of the most respected figures in modern Ukrainian life. And what is also important, he is our leader, I mean, in the military for all the period of this war. That's why he knows pretty well all the processes that are going on. And once again, I want to tell you that we Ukrainians are very grateful for the weapons that we receive, for the skills that we receive from our partners. And to some extent, I agree with our Minister of Defense, who said that Ukraine is de facto a NATO country. So we are already, to some extent, a NATO country, and our task is just to, I don't know, to make it real and to become legitimately a member of NATO. I'm personally a very much pro-NATO person, and I wish that soon Russia will fight NATO in Ukraine, but this will be Ukraine as a member of NATO, but not as they like to invent various conspiracy theories. And once again, I'm really grateful that you believe in my country, in our people, that you supply us with everything needed, and hopefully soon we will be able to stop this evil, to stop this darkness that comes from the dying Soviet Russian Empire, Orkland, or whatever you call it. Thank you so much for buying me coffees. I really value your help. Thank you for becoming my patrons and supporting our Soviet Myth Debunked project. And Slava Ukraini!